This conference will now be recorded.
So let's start the session with the tedious discussion what we are having as of today. And before we discuss the tedious session and the rest, now whatever you have practiced so far, whatever you have done so far, in case you have any doubts, you would like to ask me, okay, you are free to do it for today. Once I finish, it may take around half an hour or more than that. It means in case if you have your doubts, perhaps we can exceed it. Why? Because today it's our last session of the online class. So we have completed the complete course duration. So today will be our last session for the day. So in case you have any doubts, anything you would like to ask regarding any of the vouchers, any concepts remain unclear in your mind, you are free to do it by the time I complete the TTS. Okay, so last half an hour or we can keep for the doubt clearing session. So in the meanwhile, you can keep your doubts ready, or now only if you want to ask, you are free to do it. Okay, so let's begin with the. So I hope it's clear, right, for all of you. The voice is audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm repeating it again. Today it is our last session, the last class. So in case you have any doubts, you can clear it today itself, here itself. Okay, so that you have no doubts or confusions in your mind regarding any of the vouchers or entries or concepts in the tally story. Right, so I was doing about TDS, discussing about TDS. So in the previous class, I had given an example of how to go about for the TDS entry. What we'll do is we can again recreate the entry. So I'll give you a new example. So based on that only we can do it. Okay, so let's do it together. Let me draft the example first for the TDS. Same rent example I'll give, but I'll just change the parties here so that you can recreate the ledgers and you can have good practice of that. The company pays rent of 2,10,000 per month for the office space. This rent is payable to Lotus Towers. The rent is subject to TDS at 10%. Okay, so this is the example I've given. Company pays rent every month of 2,10,000 for the office space which is occupied by it. This rent is payable to Lotus Towers, okay, and subject to TDS at 10%. Okay. Now here we have to create three ledgers. We have the rental charges, and this comes under the group of indirect expenses. Second ledger we have is notice towers, the party to whom the rent would be paid. And notice towers, of course, comes under the group of sundry creditors. Third is TDS on rental charges. And this comes under the group of duties and taxes. So in the last class, until the vouchers, it was covered. During the voucher passing, of course, it was suddenly discontinued. So I've given a fresh entry here. Same base rent. Here I've changed the parties. That's it. So to pass this entry, we have to create three ledgers. One is rental charges, notice towers, and TDS on rental charges under duties and taxes. Okay, so let's go for it. Now already we have created the rental charges yesterday. So I'll just show you how the rental charges appear. But before that, how to create the TDS nature of payments. From the gateway of Tally, I move into the create alter option because TDS nature of payments has already been created like this. So you can go to the create if you have not created. In case you have already created, that works. So here I've given the TDS nature of payment as rent on land and building, and section is 194I. Then we have rate for individuals with parent is 10%, without parent is 20%. Then again with parent 10, without parent 20 for the other deductee types. And what is the threshold limit? It is 1 lakh 80. So rent of rupees 2 lakh is being paid to Lotus Towers, which means it is exceeding the threshold limit. So after creating the TDS nature of payment, what is the next step? We have to create these three ledgers, right? Since we've already created the rental charges, okay? Yes. So this is how we created rental charges under the group of indirect expenses. Cost type of ledger not applicable. Cost center no. GST again not applicable. Is TDS applicable? Applicable. Nature of payment, yes, you have to choose rent on land and building. Others, no changes. Next is TDS on rent. Comes under duties and taxes. Type of duty we have TDS. And nature of payment was this rent on land and building. Okay, this is how you create it. Type of duty is TDS. Nature of payment is rent on land and building. Next, now let's create the party here. Now we've given as Lotus Towers. So I'll go to create option, ledger, Lotus, towers. Under sundry creditors and payable, yes. Now this you have to know every time. I think I've told you a number of times. For the debtors and creditors, if we have to get the list of new reference, against reference, advance bill on account, this feature has to be compulsorily activated in the party ledger only. That is, maintain balances bill by bill. If this you don't activate, you cannot get that new against advance on account type of bill. So you have to make sure that this feature is activated. Okay, so press enter. Now the question is TDS deductible? Yes. Now who is a deductee type company? Resident. Deduct TDS in the same voucher? Yes. Then please come to the PAN number and give the PAN number of focus office. Provide PAN details? Yes. Because if you don't give the PAN number, then it goes for a double deduction of TDS, which you also can request. And I do skip the PAN, and if I try to pass the entry, obviously I will get a double deduction. Okay. GST can give it as unknown. We are done with the ledgers. Now the time has come to pass the vouchers. So it is the voucher we are using here. It is F7 journal voucher. Journal voucher is which kind of a voucher? It is an adjustment voucher in Tally. So the format how we send or how we pass the entry for TDS will be, this is also very important, journal entry for TDS transactions. Okay. First always debit would be the expense ledger, credit party ledger, TDS or expense ledger. And the voucher applicable for TDS is journal or purchase. Purchase also can be used, but it has to be used in the accounting invoice mode. If you remember, we had passed for accounting, advertising services, agricultural services, yes. So that mode has to be chosen. So again, I'll just discuss the change mode option when we go back to the journal voucher. So journal or purchase voucher, you can pass the TDS entries. Okay, so in this format only we have to give the TDS entries, that is debit expense. So here, which is the expense here? It is rental charges. Credit party, Lotus Towers. Credit TDS on expense ledger, TDS on rental charges. So I'll give it in order only for you. So the same entry has to be executed in the Tally software. Okay. So debit expense ledger is rental charges. What is total rental charges? We are having 2,10,000. Press enter. Credit, who is the party here? Towers. Can you see it goes for the automatic reduction of the TDS on rent paid into towers. So here New reference would automatically appear. Name we can give it as notice towers. No need to give the due date. Again, we have new reference. So here we can observe credit TDS on rent. So 21,000 is the rent TDS on rent deductible from the total rent payable to Lotus Towers. So the net amount payable to Lotus Towers is 1,89,000. So being rental charges payable to Lotus Towers. You can give for the month of April. Subject to TDS at 10%. So being rental charges will to Lotus Towers subject to TDS at 10%. Okay, so like this you have to type the narration. Type the narration like this. Now, before we process another voucher, now what we have to do is, in the sense, before processing the payment of TDS to the government, yes, now our company is paying 2,10,000 as the rent Lotus Towers, and then there is a 10% deduction of the TDS, so 1,89,000 is paid to Lotus Towers. So now we have to clear the payment of Lotus Towers, the rent has to be paid, net TDS. So to mark the payment of rent to Lotus Towers, we'll go to payment voucher. We can go to the bank payment voucher, which we had the creation of new voucher types, or you can select the payment voucher. So here, to whom the rent is being paid, Lotus Towers is space bar. So the amount is visible there only. So have the amount as 1,89,000 against reference. If we are processing the payment by check, check number has to be given. Check date. So being rent paid to Lotus Towers for the month of April. Net certificate. Like this, we have to pass the entry. Please to pass the entry. Now we have to process the payment of the government. But before that, okay, we can check the report where it appears. So what we can do is we can go to the display mode reports. So if we can come to the gateway of Tally, here we have display mode reports. Here we have statutory reports. In that we have TDS reports. Now here, which is the form which is applicable for the TDS entries for a resident, it is 26Q. So we have the form 26Q. Yes, so here if you can observe, of course I had made two entries, so it will appear as 4 lakh 10. Yesterday I had made for Arihant agencies and today for Lotus Tower. So here if you can observe, at the top it is given as deduction at normal rate for Arihant and Lotus Towers. So what is the assessable or the taxable value? How much tax is deductible? Okay, that is the TDS, tax deductible at source. So all details will be applicable here. In which form? It is form 26Q. Okay. There is one more way of checking the cases. Now it is TDS outstandings. Yes. So this is not yet being paid. Rent on land and building. So if you observe here, I press enter. So 21,000 of Lotus, 20,000 of Arihant. We'll take care of Lotus Towers as of today. Okay, so Lotus Towers 21,000 is pending. And you see here the pending amount. This much has to be remitted to the government. So like this, we can check the entries. Now, we have to process the payment of tax to the government. So we have to go again for a payment. We can go for a bank payment voucher. But how do we start first? First, we have to press Control F, that is autofill, and this autofill option is appearing on the vertical button bar if you observe, where the mouse pointer is. We can autofill option, Control F. So click on Control F, autofill option. Now you have stat payment. Stat means statutory payment. TDS, 1st of April, because March if you give here, as per the norm it is 1st of April, 31st of March. So since the financial year can't be covered because of the trial version we are using, you can just give it as 1st of April to 2nd of April. Deducted till date is 2nd of April. Enter 194I. Rent or land and building, all items resident. Yes. Now for here it cover both because Arihant the process the payment of rent was not and I did only the payment of recording of journal voucher. So this is the the payment is how it appears. So press enter, we have the check. So here you can give the split ups like 21,000 for Lotus Towers, check number. This is for the Arihant. So being TDS on rent for the month of April remitted to the government. So being TDS on rent for the month of April remitted to the government. Okay. If you want, you give the rate also 10%. So we have remitted the TDS amount. Now the best part is yet to be viewed. We can view the TDS challan. So how can we do it? We can go to the daybook and select the payment entry. We had paid the TDS to the government, yes, that entry. Yes, so from here we have to press Alt P, print option, select current. If you would like to configure, go for C. Here we have a third feature. TDS or TCS regular assessment, yes, enter. Then we can scroll. So the other features, if required, you can enter. Cross check. So I'll press Ctrl A and I'll go for print. I think I've taken 1 minute. So here, so which is the challan which we are using for the filing of TDS? It is ITNS 281 challan. So ITNS 281 challan is the challan for the TDS payment. Yes. So here, if you can observe, assessment here we have 2022 and 23. Yes. Now this is which year? We have the financial year 2021 and 22, and assessment year is 2022 and 23. Now this form or the challan is extremely important. ITNS 281 challan. And here if you observe, we have the TAN number of the entity. Then we have the Tally Prime MCC, that's the name of the company. We have the complete address, state, PIN code, telephone number, and under which section the TDS has been remitted, what is the amount involved in case if any fees or surcharge or penalty, whatever it is there, that can also be applied here. And if it is paid in cash, check or whatever, all details will appear here. Yes, so this is important for us to know the TDS tax challan. Okay. So here we completed the TDS discussion. In case we have a printer attached to our system, We can also take a ready printout for our TDS entries. Okay, so this is how we go for the TDS payment of TDS on print. So is it clear to all of you? So all the concepts are clear till here, or any concepts are is left unclear. You're not able to get any information, clarity on that, and this is your time to get the clarity. Now here there is one I think I've discussed earlier also, but again I will be discussing the same. Now we have three modes in Tally. Okay, so one we have Tally modes if we discuss. First we have the voucher mode. Second we have is item, invoice, mode. Third we have accounting invoice. Okay, so we have three modes here. One we have is voucher mode, item invoice mode, and accounting invoice mode. So which is that voucher mode? How does it exist in Tally software? Now, if we go back to contra, yes, now how does contra voucher appear? It is particulars, debit, and credit. So this is the voucher mode which you see. We have only three columns in voucher mode, and that is particulars, debit, and column. And this mode is constant or is fixed, I can say rather, for vouchers. That is contra and see. Then receipt journal. So in all these three cases, the mode is fixed. Mode in the sense that voucher screen is fixed. Particulars we have debit and credit. Now, if we go for the next mode, so which is the next mode I've given here is item invoice mode. Item invoice mode where we have seen in the purchase voucher. Yes. So here we have name of the item, quantity, rate, then we have discount. Discount is we activated it, but mainly we have name of the item, quantity, rate, and we have this is amount column. So this is the item invoice mode. Whenever stock-based entries or stock-based transactions has to be passed, we have to go for the item invoice mode and not for the accounting invoice mode. Okay. So here for inventory-based vouchers, we use the item invoice mode. Now, if I have to change from item invoice mode to accounting invoice mode, how do I do? Change mode option. How do I shift the mode from one item invoice to the other mode, like voucher mode, item invoice mode? Very, very important for us it is, that is, we select the change mode option. Okay, so Control H change mode option will allow you to choose any of the mode. Now, I want to choose a voucher mode. I can convert purchase voucher into a voucher mode. Or I want to view in the accounting invoice mode. Okay, can you see? Particulars, rate and amount. So like this, one voucher, one purchase voucher, we can see in three modes. That is, we have item invoice, accounting invoice, and voucher mode. But if we talk about the contra vouchers, and here if I go to change mode, you cannot change the mode. Rather, you can change the system of bookkeeping from single entry to double entry, or from double entry to single entry. That shift can be made, but you cannot change the mode like item invoice to accounting invoice, or to any other modes. So the mode is fixed when it comes to pure accounting vouchers, that is contra, payment, receipt, and journal. Okay, so if I go to the sales voucher, okay, so here again I can change the mode. So I can press Control H. Again, I have three modes here: item invoice, accounting invoice, and voucher mode. So like this, for all the inventory based vouchers, we can go for the easy conversion of the mode. So Control H is a change mode option where it will allow you to change the mode from single entry to double entry, or from item invoice to accounting invoice, or to voucher mode. Okay, these things can take place. So change mode option plays a very important role. So so here we have the change mode options. Now next, if we go and discuss, we can go for some revision based exercise, uh, which can help you out to have a better clarity. Just a second. So here we have got the example. Okay, I have had a small tally practical paper here, so where it gives you a better understanding. Now here the first thing which we have is this: the following entries need to be passed for the company Chroma. Now what does Chroma do? Okay, when you go to Chroma to purchase anything, it's all the electronic gadgets, electronic devices, home appliances. Yes, so that is a stock item which Chroma mainly deals with. This all of us know. Now, keeping that mind, okay, what does Chroma deal with? Now, whatever entries are being given to you so far have to be passed in the Tally software. Okay. Now, the first one you can attend it later. Now, the next one here we have cash withdrawn for household purposes of rupees 5,000 from HDFC Bank. Now, Chroma drawn for household personal use of 5,000 from probably the proprietor or whoever has withdrawn 5,000 from HDFC Bank. Now, this entry in which voucher can be based? Moment it is drawn for the household purposes, okay, we can use which voucher in the Tally software, that we have to analyze it. Or if one of you could give a response, it would be good. So that whatever you have done so far, you will be able to analyze the entry and answer the same. You can make a try, or I will give the answer. If you want, you can think and answer. For this, which voucher can be passed for the second entry? Okay, so first of all, what the journal entry would be? It is household purposes means it is drawings account. So drawings account letter to HDFC bank account. So the moment we go for drawings to HDFC bank account, we have to use which voucher? It is a payment voucher. Okay, so I will use a payment voucher for the same. 5,000 rupees credit to HDFC by X. That much has been posted. Can be any mobile check or ATM or whatever. Give us ATM also. Difference. In cash withdrawn for household purposes. The second entry we have purchase stationery for rupees 20,000 on credit from Ritu. Now, chroma and stationery. Can stationery be regarded as a stock for chroma? Can stationery be considered as a stock?
No,
No.
ma'am.
So, if stationery is not a stock, then now the question comes here again. If I have to record this purchase of stationery of rupees 20,000 on credit from Ritu, can I go for the voucher, purchase voucher? Purchase are which kind of vouchers? They are inventory based vouchers. Stationery is not an inventory. Stationery is not a stock. It is an expense. Yes. So for this purpose, I have given here as purchase stationery for 20,000 on credit from Ritu. But which voucher I may use if I am purchasing stationery on credit? It's a wonderful question. Uh, if you can make a try as to which voucher can we use. You have so many vouchers which you have done so far. So I'll give three vouchers name: purchase voucher, payment voucher, journal voucher. Three vouchers we have: purchase, journal, and payment. So we have to use here.
Ma'am, is it journal voucher?
Very good. It is journal voucher. Fantastic. So this clarity you should have. When I consider chroma as the example, for chroma stationery is an expense, it is not a stock. But in case if I talk about washing machines, micro ovens, TVs, laptops, they all become the stock for chroma. So we must have knowledge the difference between what is stock in trade, what is an asset. What is stock in trade? what is an expense for the company. Accordingly, we should also know which voucher has to be used for what. If I talk about inventory purchase, purchase voucher. If I talk about a recording of an expense, that too again two categories. If it is on credit, first is journal, and then to close the payment, settle the payment, payment voucher. So journal and payment. In case if it is directly payment, payment voucher. But we don't involve a purchase voucher. So we have to pass the same first in a journal. So F7 journal voucher. Now we have purchased stationery on credit from Ritu. Now stationery becomes an indirect expenses. Debit all expenses and losses. Now instead of using cash, cash would be going out if I make the payment. We are substituting cash with Ritu's account because the stationery is being purchased on credit. So it is stationery account. Amount is 20,000. Credit Ritu. Ritu I think we don't have. So create. Also we have to make payment of stationery supplier. So it's a sundry creditor. Right? So what it should be? We have purchased on credit. So it is new reference. So name is Ritu. Due date 1 day you can do. Very next to the payments are being settled. So being stationery purchased on, this is the way we pass the entry. Now we have to settle the payment for it. Now we have to use a payment. We can use a bank payment or only a payment voucher. If I use only a payment voucher, now cash or bank is going out, yes. So debit Ritu's account, 20,000 is the amount. Always it is against reference because the bills are being settled. And credit is any bank or cash. Choices again. If I'm transferring, making e-fund transfer also can be whichever mode you can. Being bill settled for Ritu towards the purchase of stationery. Being bill settled for Ritu towards the purchase of stationery. Got it? So like this, we pass the entry. So one journal entry or one transaction has two effects here. First, we pass journal and pass the payment voucher. Next, the next entry received a check of rupees 16,000 from Priya. Now, check has been received from Priya already. So, in this case, which is the voucher we will be using? It is a receipt voucher. Yes, so we have received a check from Priya and I am depositing the same into my bank. Okay, so we have to go for a receipt. So what we will do is we will pass the same in the receipt voucher. So F6. Now from Priya we are receiving, yes, 16,000. So credit Priya's account. So we go to the create option. Priya. So when Priya is making a payment to me, in which group we have to create Priya's ledger? It is sundry debtor. Yes. So I'll create the ledger under the group of sundry. Okay. 16,000. It's on account because spot payment is being made. So debit. Now this also you have to be careful. Couple of times I've told you. In this main entry, we are giving our bank details. Now my company's bank account is HDFC. I'll give you. Here I have to give the customers or clients check details, check number and which bank's check. This is of whose? This is of the customers. Top, if you can see, you have bank allocations for HDFC Bank, which means whatever checks are being issued by the customer, rather received by my company, all those checks will go to my company's bank account. But in this, the transaction type screen, instrument number and the bank name, we have to get customers check details. So instrument number, space bar. Let's say Priya has given me a Canara Bank check. So being payment received from Priya. Yes. The next we have opened a bank account with SBI for rupees 35,000. Company has opened a bank account with which bank? State Bank of India, and it has deposited 35,000 rupees. Now here we have two ways of entry. One, we can create a ledger of on State Bank of India and we can give the balance, but that would be a not a good way. Rather, we are depositing cash of 35,000 into the bank. So either you can go for a fund transfer, like you're transferring funds from ICICI Bank to State Bank, can be done. But otherwise, the best way is we are making a cash transfer, fund transfer to SBI Bank. So for that, we have to check whether do we have a sufficient cash balance. Do we have 35,000 to be transferred to the State Bank of India? So how do we do so? We have to go to Alt G, that is go to option, and we have the cash or bank. So cash or allows you to have the to check the cash or bank balances. Yes, so here I'm having a cash of 2,39,150. So out of that 35,000 I'll be depositing into SBI bank. So for this, sorry. Now for this I'll be using which voucher? Contra voucher. F4 contra voucher. So credit cash 35,000, debit State Bank of India. So I'll give us 17 notes, 500 notes. So 2000 into 17, no, denomination of 2000 will be 17 notes and 500 2 notes. Being you can give an SP, being an SP account open with SBI and deposited cash of rupees. Meanwhile, being SB account opened SBI and deposited cash of rupees 35,000. Like this, we can pass the entry. Yes, the next is a very interesting one. Purchased plant and machinery for 33 lakh from SSM Technologies by paying 15,000 immediately and balance to be paid at a later date. Here you have to make two analyses, two observations. First of all, plant and machinery can be a stock for chroma. Just a second. So here in this entry, plant and machinery can be a stock or an asset for SSM Technologies. From SSM Technologies, what we have made a purchase for the chroma, what it can be regarded as, and accordingly which voucher can be used. Any of you has got the answer? At least which voucher? If you can also put it up in the chat box if you would like to answer, or you can unmute yourself and respond. If plant and machinery has been purchased from SSM Technologies, that plant and machinery, if I have to record that purchase, where do I record? In which voucher? Again, the options we have purchase, we have journal. So, which voucher would I choose? So, it would be a journal voucher. Why? Because plant and machinery, of course, to carry any kind of main, like we require that plant and machinery to be set up, okay, for carrying out. It can be anything, day-to-day operations or any kind of processing. So we don't deal with the purchase or sale of machinery, plant and machineries. I'm talking about the plant and machineries which are being set up or which are being fastened or fixed to the earth. So Chroma doesn't deal with that. Yes or no? It deals with all the electronic devices, the gadgets. So the main stop for Chroma is that it doesn't go with the purchase or sale of plant and machinery. So if at all we have to record this entry, how we can pass this entry? Now this entry has one more updation that 15,000 has been paid, probably get considered as a down payment, and the remaining is yet to be paid to SSM Technologies. So this we can enter in a German voucher, but how? Now plant and machinery has been purchased from SSM Technologies. So plant and machinery is an asset for the company. It is not a stock. So first I'll create a ledger for plant and machinery. Under fixed assets, GST can just rule out. Value of plant and machinery is 3 lakh. Now credit SSM Technologies. So he is a supplier of plant and machinery, so it's unnamed creditor. Now here, what has to be done? Now 15,000 you can regard as an advance payment. So advance to SSM Technologies. Due date no, because immediately the payment was made. 15,000. The remaining 2,85,000 is pending, yet to be paid to SSM Technologies. So it comes to the same as new reference. And perhaps SSM Technologies has given a time of 30 days. So you can create as 30 days as this is the way we pass the entry. 15,000 advance payment is being made and remaining 2,85,000 is pending. Okay, the amount is pending to be paid. So being purchase being purchase of plant and machinery made with down payment or advance. Anyhow, we can take advance payment of rupees 15,000. From SSM Technologies. And then the rest is payment. Yes. Now we have to mark the advance payment because, as I told, the journal will not get completed. So you have to go for a payment voucher to mark the payment of advance to SSM Technology. So SSM Technologies, 15,000 has to be paid advance. Credit. The advance payment made to SSM Technologies. Towards the purchase of plant and machinery. Now the remaining payment is pending. Yes, it is not yet paid. So if we go and check the ledger outstandings, how did we go and check to the complete reporting part? If we go for receivables and payables report, we have the ledger outstandings and we have SSM technologies. Yes, so can you observe here? How much is the pending amount now? 2,85,000. So if we have paid 15,000, but the amount is pending as of now is 2,85,000, which is added in yellow over. So in case if I have to settle bill option, can you see here? 2,85,000 will be highlighted. Remaining 15 we have already paid. So we can clear the bills also by using the bill settlement option. So through which bank? I'll choose HDFC Bank. Bill final payment made through SSM technologies. So like this we can close the end. Now we have cleared all the bill for SSM technologies. So next one we can go for. Like this we can pass any entries. So and most important we have to very much know what is the difference between stock, asset and expenses. Accordingly we can decide which voucher has to be used. So the next we have had purchased Nirmal plastic chairs from VK suppliers Thane of 30 pieces at 300 per piece at 18% GST for the company. Chroma had purchased chairs from VK suppliers Thane. How many chairs? 30 pieces at 300 per piece. So now this voucher, now chairs can be regarded as stock or an asset for the company. In which voucher or which voucher we make for this to record this entry. We have to use the most important. First of all, chairs. If we talk about chairs, can chairs be regarded as a stock for Chroma? Chroma doesn't deal with purchase and sale of chairs. It is not a furniture showroom. Yes. So what happens is chairs can't be regarded as stock for Chroma. First of all. Yes. This all of you agree. Chairs are assets but not stock for Chroma. So, which means, can we use a purchase voucher? No, we have to drop the item. Second, had purchased Nirmal plastic chairs from VK suppliers and at 300 per piece. So, uh, payment for Nirmal plastic chairs had been made. 300 per piece of 30 pieces at 80% GST for the company. All of you would get this. How to record GST? Because normally we have the practice of entering CGST, SGST, the purchase voucher. But in this case, how do we go about it? We can go up, yes. Now, when we have made a purchase from Nirmal Plastic Chairs, had purchased Nirmal Plastic Chairs from VK suppliers, we can use a purchase voucher to record this entry, and afterwards we can record a payment voucher. So when we are recording a journal voucher for the purchase of chairs, then only we can go for the calculation of CGST and SGST. Yes. Now what is CGST and SGST? It's nothing but a tax liability. Yes. So that entry can also be made and we can pass the entry. So first of all, let's go for the journal nature. So chairs are being purchased from PK suppliers, create minimal plastic chairs. So that's it. So what is the total amount? It is 30 pieces at 300 per piece. So what is the function key for a calculator? What is the key for the calculator we use? One of you could answer this question. In the journal voucher, we had used a calculator for calculating depreciation, appreciation. Yes. So what is the key? What is the shortcut key we had used? It is Alt C. So Alt C, if we go for get the calculator thing. Very good. So here we can calculate 300 shift 300 per piece into 30 pieces. Into 30. Totally 9,000 is the total amount payable. Now on this 9,000, of course, we have the GST applicable. How much? 18% GST has to be paid. Now what can be done here is we can go for the debit. Now here we have the CGST and SGST. So we can go to the Alt C. We can activate the calculator pane again. And what is the net amount here? 9,000 shift into 18% shift again percentage. Press enter. Now how much we have? 1620. So this is the total amount of tax. So either you can give it a split up as CGST, SGST. So we can give CGST. Okay, so 1620. Now again, if you go back to calculator pane, again there only you can divide and see. 1620 by 2. So how much we have? 810, right? So we have 810 of CGST and GST. And credit is what? It is VK suppliers. And it is Thane. Here we okay, so here we have Thane, so I have to take IGST. So we have to consider as an interest rate. Just a second. So with regard, we put up IG 1006. So here we have IGST 1006. Here we have credit, create, VK suppliers. Sundry creditor. Where is VK in Maharashtra? Thane. So the total amount we can close the calculator pane. So the total amount to be paid is 10,620. So it can be new reference on account and name is VK suppliers. Seven days. So this is the way we pass the entry. So 9,000 plus the IGST because it is an interstate, right? So from Karnataka, between Karnataka and Maharashtra, we have a purchase of purchase of nimble plastic chairs from VK suppliers Thane. Okay, so we have the narration here. So in case if tax is applicable, it will be IGST. That's CGST plus SGST. The aggregate tax amount and payable to whom VK suppliers. So being purchase of minimal plastic chairs made from VK suppliers. Okay, with 18% GST. Now we can clear the payment for VK suppliers by how? FI or bank payment voucher. VK suppliers 10,620 against reference. Via check or don't give Google Pay also. First of April. So we payment made towards the purchase of normal plastic chairs for VK suppliers. So like this we pass the entry and we click it. So hope it is clear whatever voucher been done so far, whatever entries, why this revision exercises were given is to just to give you a clarity of how all it goes up. Yes. So all the function keys have been discussed with you. All the important keys have been discussed, vouchers. So the discussion regarding from the basics of accountancy we had started and we have ended with a TDS. So I hope you revise whatever has been done so far. So I'll give you last few minutes in case you have anything to ask, you're free to do it or we can end the session which we have been carrying so far. So hope all of you make a good practice. Please practice well whatever has been learned so far.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, will we have any practical exam tally?
Yeah, your exams date will be announced and it will be put up in the group which you are currently in. So it will be announced to you shortly and will be put up in the group as which date you'll be having your
Okay,
exam. Okay?
okay, ma'am. But can I know how will it be conducted?
Yeah, that all information will be given to you by a college. So how it will be and in which factor. So probably you'll be given the dates soon. It will be given in the WhatsApp group. Okay? So I think you
Okay,
can
ma'am.
stay.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, ma'am, will be
Yes, yes,
informed
Sach.
a bit earlier. Like,
Huh?
okay. And ma'am, can you please share the PPTs?
No, I think the YouTube videos sent to you, right?